What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. We finally have some great news regarding these $2,000 stimulus checks that everybody's been talking about. Now, some of this is very confusing, but I want to try to bring this to you in a very clear, concise manner so that you hopefully understand what we can see today, moving on this week, and potentially even into next week. So, yesterday, the House passed a $2,000 stimulus check amendment. This is just the amendment. What this means is they take the $600 that we are currently getting, which the Treasury has stated, okay, we are currently getting reports that the Treasury is hoping to get the checks out this week. You could see a stimulus check before the end of the year. We're just days away. So we could see it in the next few days. Now, yesterday, the House passed the $2,000 stimulus check amendment. This means the $600 stimulus check would be pulled off the table and it would be replaced with a $2,000 stimulus check. In the event, which will most likely happen, that we get the stimulus check of $600 first, and then the possibility of the $2,000 stimulus check passing through the Senate and being signed into law by President Trump, if this happens, the Treasury would give us an additional $1,400 per $600 stimulus check we received. So it's not $600 plus $2,000. But I want to be clear. The provisions in this new amendment are big. It's not just $2,000 for filers. It's $2,000 for filers. It's $2,000 for their spouse. It's $2,000 for all their child dependents. And this is a big one, $2,000 for all adult dependents as well. This is a game changer. This is big, and this is one of the reasons why this bill is going to cost roughly $550, $600 billion because it's $2,000 stimulus checks to everybody. That is huge. That is big. Now, this $2,000 stimulus check amendment is finally what the American people have been after. They want something, and many people in Congress do as well, President Trump does as well. They understand that a $2,000 stimulus check now is going to help them get back to where they once were. A $600 stimulus check for somebody that's single with no dependents is going to do very little. Even somebody that has, a spouse and let's say 2 kids, that's going to be $2,400 that they receive. It's going to help, but it's still going to do very little. So, if you couple the $2,000 stimulus check with the vaccines that are coming out, this right here is what many people are saying will get the American people somewhat back to normal life. And that's what we're all after. We just want to get through this pandemic. We want to make it through. We will make it through, healthy and alive. But at the same time, come out of this, in the same place that we went into it. Not in a deep, deep hole. Now, it's because of this the House passed the bill. But this doesn't mean a thing. Just because the House passed this bill yesterday does not mean a thing. It now falls into Mitch McConnell's hands. Pretty much into his lap. And he decides what he wants to do with it. Will he take it to the floor and vote on it? Will he let it sit on his desk? Will he just completely reject it and never say anything about it? It's possible. The crazy part about all this is that some people say Mitch McConnell has no choice but to sign this bill, to get this bill on the floor for a vote and get it passed. That's pretty much his signature on this, is either I just don't say anything about it at all, which we see this happen so often, or he puts it on the floor of the Senate for a vote. Many people right now say they have enough support in the Senate to pass this bill. Others say he can't do this yet, though. He needs to wait. We need to put a pause on this. But why? Here's the reason why. Currently, everything comes down to the Georgia Senate runoff election on January 5th. Everything comes down to this. Let me break this down as to why. Mitch McConnell knows that Republicans need to win at least of the Georgia Senate seats. There's 2 seats up for grabs. Okay, 2 Senate seats for every single state. So there's 2 seats up for grabs, which means Republicans need 1 seat in order to hold the majority in the Senate. If they lose both seats, if both Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, if they both lose this coming election on January 5th, the Senate will now be controlled by Democrats. Mitch McConnell doesn't want that. He does not want that. It is because of this that many experts are currently saying Mitch McConnell must get the $2,000 stimulus checks to actually pass in order for voters in Georgia to vote Republican. So right now, we're pretty much being told that if Mitch McConnell wants to regain his seat, okay, or pretty much keep the majority in the Senate, he needs to pass $2,000 stimulus checks. So what we're being told is, if we get these $2,000 stimulus checks passed, it means Republicans win the Senate in Georgia. That's what we're hearing. But on the other hand, if Mitch McConnell doesn't hold a vote to get these $2,000 stimulus checks passed, then Bernie Sanders came out yesterday and he stated he will filibuster the NDAA veto override. And this is supposed to happen sometime tomorrow. Some people said it might happen today. This is on record. We're on their schedule to happen tomorrow. So on Wednesday, the Senate will come back today, but they will not vote on this veto override until tomorrow. Bernie Sanders says he will hold up this vote, and he can do this until New Year's Day. That is when the Senate will actually adjourn for New Year's Day, and they will come back potentially on Saturday, January 2nd. Now, this filibuster is going to be big. If Bernie Sanders does not give in, which I don't expect him to give in at this point, but multiple senators can jump on board with Bernie Sanders and slightly filibuster this vote. If this happens, the Senate will adjourn on New Year's Day. They'll come back on January 2nd, most likely, to get this vote passed, to get this NDAA override vote. Now, if this happens, Bernie Sanders could continue to delay this vote a little bit. And by doing so, what he's doing is he is requiring the 2 Republican senators, the current sitting senators, okay, Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, they will both be required to come back to Washington, which means in the days leading up to their campaign, their election on January 5th, they'll be back in Washington on the 2nd and the 3rd. Those are crucial days. Those are crucial campaigning days. That's a weekend as well. So what we're being told is, if Bernie Sanders does this, and Mitch McConnell knows this, if Bernie Sanders filibusters this vote, and which is expected to happen, if he does this, then what's going to happen is the 2 senators that are fighting for their lives down in Georgia will have to leave the campaign trail, come back to Washington to vote on this bill on potentially Saturday or Sunday, which means they have 1 or 2 less days to campaign down in Georgia, which could ultimately hurt their campaign and potentially make it where both Democrats win the Senate. That would be huge. Now, according to a statement from President Trump that we heard just a couple of days ago, he stated that he signed the stimulus package because the Senate will now vote on a $2,000 stimulus check. Now, I don't know if Mitch McConnell and President Trump have some type of deal in place. My guess is they do, because right after that, President Trump, he came out and said that he will hold a rally for the 2 Republican senators in Georgia, and he will do this on January 4th. That's next Monday. So he's going to do this rally on January 4th, one day before the election. This could be huge. But I can tell you right now, if Mitch McConnell doesn't put this bill on the floor and he overrides President Trump's vote, or overrides his veto, which they expect him to do, and he doesn't fight for a Section 230 repeal, I guarantee you President Trump does not head to Georgia. Why would he? Why would he go and support Republicans that were not supportive of him? He's not going to do this. So, between Monday and today, something big has to happen. My guess is Mitch McConnell's been very quiet, but my guess is there is going to be something, to be done. Is it a $2,000 stimulus check? Is that what Mitch McConnell's thinking? Okay, if this is going to cost us $600 billion, is $600 billion worth it to retain our majority in the Senate? Some are going to say yes, because if Mitch McConnell doesn't go for this $2,000 stimulus check, and again, I'm saying Mitch McConnell, not Senate Republicans, because if Mitch McConnell supports this, many other Senate Republicans will as well. Guaranteed. We already know there's a handful of them that will. Probably have about 5 that will. Three or four have publicly stated they will vote for this. They support this. So, what we know right now is if Mitch McConnell puts this on the floor, it's most likely going to pass. If it passes, that means everybody gets a $2,000 stimulus check. You, your spouse, your child dependents, any adult dependents you have on your tax return, you all get a $2,000 stimulus check with no cap. If you have 10 kids, you get $20,000. That's going to be big. Now, in addition to this, Mitch McConnell knows that by holding a vote before the Georgia Senate runoff election, it will require Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue to take a tough vote just days ahead of their election. They'll go on record showing what they support. Do they support a $2,000 stimulus check or not? This could help them swing votes. If they support this, it could swing in their favor. If they don't support this, it could also hurt them. That's what we're hearing. So depending on how they vote, this could really help their re-election campaigns, or it could hurt them. So my guess is at this point, or even in the last couple of days, Mitch McConnell has actually reached out to these 2 senators to see what their stance is, to see where they side. Would they vote for a $2,000 stimulus check? Do they want to vote for a $2,000 stimulus check? Or would this only be done because they know voting yes and getting this passed for the American people right before the new year and just days ahead of their January 5th election, this could potentially win it for them. This could win it for them. So it's really up in the air. Is Mitch McConnell going to put this on the floor or not? I think he will at some point. I think everything that I've just said, everything that I've been reading over the past couple of days, makes it even more so where he has to do this, and he needs to do it soon. I wish I could tell you the $2,000 stimulus checks it's a done deal, and it's going to happen. They're coming soon. They're on their way. But that's not the case yet. We have yet to hear from Mitch McConnell. So today's going to be a big day. One thing that I want to warn you of, though, and this is something that I've said before, we need to wait and hear what Mitch McConnell says. If Mitch McConnell ultimately comes out today and talks about President Trump signing the omnibus bill and talks about, hopefully everyone had a great, Christmas, the vaccines are on their way, numbers are, starting to taper down. Well, they're starting to taper down because we just got to a holiday, but wait 2 to 3 weeks and we'll see them spike back up. If we see this, if this is what Mitch McConnell does, and he completely ignores the $2,000 stimulus check amendment from the House, if he does this, then don't expect a vote until on this, maybe ever, but don't expect a vote until after January 5th. He's just going to buy time. However, like I said, if President Trump came out and said, like he did, he gave a statement saying he signed the stimulus bill and the government funding bill to give the American people the relief that they need, and the Senate is going to hold a vote on $2,000 stimulus checks. If that's what he said, chances are he already got some type of agreement from Mitch McConnell. So, again, we haven't heard from Mitch McConnell. We should hear from him today, hopefully. If this happens, what he says will mean so much. Whether he says they're going to vote or not, doesn't matter. Okay? We know it all comes down to Mitch McConnell and the Georgia Senate runoff. So, that's what we know right now regarding these $2,000 stimulus checks. As I know more, I promise I'll share more. I'll keep you updated on what's going on with the $2,000 stimulus checks, as well as what we are going to see coming up very soon from the $600 stimulus checks. Those are already being processed according to the Treasury Department. So we could see the $600 stimulus checks come sometime this week, if not early to middle of next week, but that's what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.